What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Now, if you're an astrology fan like me, you are well aware that the 12 star signs have an element associated with them. They are in order via earth, air, and water. That's also known as a triplicity, because each of those elements has 3 signs within it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think of, it being a triplicity. You're thinking 3. You've got to come in with some maths to figure out why it's the case. The other side of that same sum are our quadruplicities, our qualities, our modalities. Now, these describe each individual sign's personality and their general vibe. Last month we started looking at one of them. We looked at the fixed modality, which is generally the one that's in the middle of a season. The others are mutable, which we are looking at today, and cardinal, which we will look at next month when Libra starts. So our 4 mutable signs are in order: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And happy Virgo season to everybody. Now, our mutable signs are our thinkers, our philosophers of the zodiac. They mark the end of a season, the completion of a cycle, depending on how you look at it. Gemini season for the southern hemisphere, where I live, begins as autumn is ending. Virgo for winter, Sagittarius for spring, and Pisces for summer. Obviously, you invert the season's association with the sign for the northern hemisphere. Mutable signs know change is coming, right? And that's what they mark. They mark the changing of the season. And they usually work hard to prepare us all for that transformation. They have the flexibility and open-mindedness to understand situations from all different angles. They are deep thinkers that withhold judgment until the information is presented, and even then, they won't be mean about it. They aren't decisive as the other signs, but that doesn't mean they don't have opinions. It just takes them a little while to decide what they think, but once they do, they're open to changing their minds. The mutable signs finish the tasks at hand without a sweat. Their chill vibes make them fun to be around, even if they can get a little wrapped up in their professional endeavors. On a bad day, mutable signs can be a little wishy-washy, but only because they're still processing information and deciding how to proceed, like what course of action they want to take. Our mutable signs are actually quite interesting, because they are only ruled by one of 2 planets. Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury, and Sagittarius and Pisces are both ruled by Jupiter, which is very interesting. The only other ones that you can sort of pair with them are as like sharing signs, Taurus and Libra, which are polar opposites, so it makes that quite interesting, but they're also both ruled by Venus. So those 6 signs, I think, are kind of the coolest ones. Sorry to the other 6 signs. Now, for Gemini and Virgo, Mercury covers information, news, travel, and for Sagittarius and Pisces, Jupiter also affects travel, particularly of the international global variety, but it also sort of rules over education and philosophy. So there is some overlap there, but to make it a little bit easier to understand, Mercury is sort of a micro, so it's sort of like at a lower level, a little bit closer to home, and Jupiter is macro energy. Same sort of thing as like Mercury's more introverted, like in towards yourself, and Jupiter's more outward and expanding, and you know, you want your higher education so you can go further, whereas Mercury's wanting information and news to come in towards them. Basically the same, but the direction of energy is different. So yeah, there's a bit of overlap there, and they both need each other to survive. What good is reading, for instance, the thing that Mercury would do, what good is reading Jane Austen if you can't ponder the meaning of her words? So the Mercury and Jupiter energy sort of going hand in hand there. What good is it absorbing that energy if you can't then express an understanding? These planets work hand in hand to expand the mind and intellect, thus making mutable signs a lot more philosophical. Mutable energy is important to our lives because it doesn't constrain us to just one view. Now there are 4 mutable signs, one for each element. Gemini is air, Virgo is earth, Sagittarius is our fire sign, and then Pisces, our lucky last but not least sign, is a water sign. So let's have a little bit of a look individually. So Geminis, you guys are known to talk a mile a minute. The dualistic Gemini's chatty nature is all thanks to their inquisitive minds. Even though they love to gossip, Geminis still have plenty of time to complete projects by doing the work of 2 people for the price of 1. So yeah, they might seem like a chatty Cathy, but once they get to work, they're going to plow through that. Virgos, you guys are analytical and practical, and you have a ton of patience, but also a ton of drive, and you use those things to understand what's needed to achieve your many goals. When you finish a task, you're doing it with extra care, and you rarely leave loose ends, because you pay attention to the small details, and you really don't like leaving any room whatsoever for any kind of mistake. Sagittarius, you guys are curious and soulful by nature. This is my rising sign, so I'm just gonna actually, it's funny, Sagittarius and Pisces are both in my chart, so yeah, so curious and soulful by nature. Sagittarius is progressive, provocative, and adventurous. You guys love to figure out ways to improve your situations and your relationships. You've got a you do you vibe though, and you can easily let go of relationships and projects that aren't working for you, and you'll sort of move on to the next thing as soon as you possibly can. Obviously, as far as relationships is concerned, that can to others seem like an unhealthy thing, but you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I feel that. And Pisces, I think Pisces is my Saturn sign. Wouldn't have been poetic if it was my Jupiter. But Pisces, you guys are inspirational and you have big dreams, but you hold on to those visions, right? You have big dreams and you hold on to your visions right till the very end. You need to feel deeply connected to the work you do, or else you're just not gonna invest your time. If you're not feeling it, you're not gonna do it. And that hits. You guys are big-hearted sign. Like you're a big-hearted sign, and you hope that you can change the world with your intuition and your compassion, which I will say is quite commendable. When my other one wants to load here. Cool. So moving on to there are links, by the way, in the description below. So the Mutable Houses are the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th. You guys are the lucky ones to get all the multiples of 3. It's quite easy to just know which ones are mutables. No other modality has the luck of, being all multiples of a specific number, because obviously we're going to be counting by 3 for all modalities. If a horoscope shows a preponderance of planets in these houses, the energy is weighted towards mutability. So yeah, you can really get a massive reading off of a chart if you know not only what a planet in a star sign on its own means, but then where that sits, which house that energy then sits in. That can then give you a heightened reading. And then obviously if you have more of 3s, 6s, 9s and 12s than any other number, like as a whole, then your mutability is going to be a lot higher rather than your fixed nature or your cardinal action. Mutable signs rather know how to go with the flow. You guys are adaptable and flexible, and you can change your form of expression to whatever the situation requires. You are the puzzle piece that can fit wherever it needs to go, essentially. Standing your ground is little important to mutable folk, because you would much rather conform to the norm as long as you're doing so. As long as doing so will actually help the greater good. So you're not conforming for the sake of conformity, and just trying to get along, and you're actually conforming to a norm that is actually progressive, and it just makes you guys, I think, a little bit complex and a little bit interesting, or rather a little more interesting, rather. Luckily, mutable individuals are versatile and you find it quite easy to change. You're essentially the chameleons of the zodiac, since you can take on varied personae. You are blessed with a tremendous resourcefulness. You guys talk about, like you guys really are just like the essence of making lemonade from lemons. You know how to squeeze every last drop of juice out of a situation, to make things better in the process. If you are influenced by a mutable modality in your horoscope, you may also enjoy learning, fair play, let me start that bit again. I think I misunderstood the grammar here. You also enjoy learning, you guys play fair, and you're diplomatic and well liked by others. There we go. To your further credit, you guys are also quite sharp, sympathetic, and you can see the essential elements of a situation, sometimes from a seemingly sixth sense sort of thing. Now whether that is that you can sort of, sense, the emotions in the room, sort of a level of empathy there, on as far as like ESP is concerned. It could border, it might be particularly with some people, you might just know how they think, not necessarily what exactly they're thinking, but you just understand how they think, and therefore you're able to sort of predict what their next action would be. But yeah, you guys can sort of see the essential elements of a situation. At times, however, your desire to please everyone gets you into hot water. You may come across as wishy-washy, inconsistent, and downright duplicitous. What a word. All this in the name of aiming to please. The beauty of mutability, rather, is that those possessing it are flexible, versatile, and highly resourceful. You guys are the ones that are quick to help others, and you are selfless in the process. While you may occasionally stretch yourselves to the breaking point, you know how to bounce back. And just to finish off the video, the houses that you guys rule over. Third house is the house of sharing. So Gemini's house is this one. So communication, distribution and generosity, intelligence and development. It being the house of Gemini, the twins, siblings comes into this. Locomotion and transportation, and then ephemera, which if we give me 2 seconds. Ephemera. So ephemeral as a word is an adjective meaning for a very short time. So essentially, you're here for a good time, not a long time. Virgo's house is the house of health, and it rules over routine tasks and duties, skills or training that you have acquired, job employment, services performed for others, strength and vitality, wellness and healthcare, and courage. Sagittarius is the house of purpose, and it rules over travel and foreign affairs, culture, expansion, law and ethics, education, learning and knowledge, philosophical interests, belief systems, experience through exploration, and then long-term things to sort of go the polar opposite of Gemini there. It's also interesting to note that you guys are polar opposites of each other as well, like Pisces and Virgo are opposites just as much as Sagittarius and Gemini are. Hang on. I take back what I said before. Libra and Taurus are not polar opposite each other. I don't know why I said that when I know for a fact that it's Libra and Aries. Anyway. Last but not least house is Pisces, which is the house of sacrifice, and it rules over privacy, refuge, seclusion and retreating, clandestiny and revelation, intuition, extremities and abundance, but also addiction, luck and miracles, releasing and relinquishing, healing, forgiveness and peacefulness, and it also represents finality, completion and conclusion, with it being the last house, the last sign. Now, houses also have modalities and triplicities. 3, 6, 9, and 12, which are the mutable houses. You guys are cadent, and your keyword is learning. I just want to astrological house. I want to pull it up on this, just so I'm not going to lose this page. 12 houses. Let me go down here. What does it do if I take it to cadent? Okay, so it says here, in astrology, a cadent house is the last house of each quadrant of the zodiac. Quadrant begins with an angular house, which is a cardinal sign. The house in which a chart angle lies proceeds to a succeedent house and ends with a cadent house. There are 4 quadrants in an astrological chart, providing 4 angular, 4 succeedent, and 4 cadent houses, etc. The Greeks called the cadent houses apoklyma, which literally means falling or decline, because the houses are seen to be falling away from the strength of the angular houses, which were considered to be the most influential because of their perpendicular and opposite relationships to the ascendant. Cadent houses are therefore usually considered by astrologers to be as less fertile and productive places by their nature than either angular or succeedent houses, and the planets located in them are seen as generally less powerful and comfortable. This view of cadency is universally found in ancient sources. Yeah, I might leave the link to this as well, because it does go into what the 4 cadent houses are, a little drop down for natural houses, and then a drop down for each individual. Take it to the top there. Yep. We got the 3rd house, the 6th house, the 9th house, the 12th house. So I might leave that in the description as well for you guys, but otherwise all of the other links in the description as well. Thanks for watching the video. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. If you liked this one, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you are a mutable sign, or where mutable signs come in your birth chart down below in the comments. And until next time, keep your head screwed on.